Hello, my name is Elmer Lee Hayles, and I'd like to tell you a small story about my time in the Civilian Conservation Corps. I was in three different camps totally during my time in the CCCs. Started out in Mississippi in 1939 in a little place in South Mississippi where they had a camp, and there is where I went first when I joined up. And the things that we learned to do there was plant trees and also harvest trees for lumber and carry them to a sawmill. I was only there a short time, and then I was transferred to a place in northern Mississippi called Spring Lake State Park. And that was completely different than the one that I was in down in southern Mississippi. In the one at Spring Lake, I learned quite a few things. They also had tree planting there, and we were doing this in northern Mississippi mostly to conserve the soil from erosion, because the red clay gullies there would wash out and it would really mess up the landscape. And by leveling these things and planting trees, we had forests that were growing, and we stopped the erosion. It was a wonderful thing, because even later on in life I've gone back through that area, and all those trees are still, a lot of them still standing, a lot of them have been cut down and harvested, but they replant now also. So the good part about it is that it stopped the erosion in the land all over the state of Mississippi. They were doing that. Secondly, we were building cabins and a big lodge and canteen building with a dance hall, and that required stone, and there was an abundance of sandstone locally there, and I got to learn how to cut the sandstone. They would bring the slabs in from the quarry. We would take a framing square, like a carpenter uses, and we'd square out the largest piece that we could get that would be square, and then we would score along that marking with a chisel and a hammer. And then you'd take the hammer, after you made your score line, you could break it off, and it would crack right at the score line, and we'd have a piece of stone that was square. Then they could lay that up into the wall with the cement, and it was absolutely gorgeous to look at the stone after it was done. I was doing that one day when a man came up and wanted to know if there was anyone there by the name of Elmer Lee Hayles, and I said, "Yes, sir, that's my name." And he said, "Well, come with me, young man, and I've got a job for you." And I said, "But I'd have to talk to the foreman first, because I can't just get up and leave." And he says, "You can get up and leave. I've already talked to your foreman. I'm the plant superintendent, and I've got a couple of special things that I want two men to do, and you're one of them, so lay your tools down and come with me." So that's what I did. I went out to the pickup truck that he had driven up, got inside with him and sat there, and he started explaining to me some of the things that I would be doing. I listened, and he said that I had one other man and yourself, that we need to get a night watchman set up here because we've got a lot of equipment in here where we're building things, and we don't want it walking away at nighttime from somebody stealing it. So we're going to put 2 men on as night watchmen. And he said, we have a cabin over here already for you and one other man. His name was Buck, to move into. And he said, when you get here, you'll have to do your own cooking and cleaning. But he said, you go to the commissary and you can pick up whatever food you want. And you can bring it in and stock it in your refrigerator. And you do your cooking, and canned vegetables, or if there's fresh vegetables, you can get those too and cook those. And I said, fine, that'll be fine with me. So he proceeded to take us to the cabin after we picked up Buck, showed us what it was, told us how we're going to be doing things at nighttime to watch, gave us a pickup truck to drive around in, and it turned out to be some pretty good duty. A little later on, after I was doing that for a few months, I found out that this man lived in the hometown that I grew up in, which was only 48 miles south of the camp that I was in at Spring Lake State Park. That is actually located in Holly Springs, Mississippi, or just outside Holly Springs, Mississippi. And he came to me one day and he said, I was talking to your dad over the weekend, and your dad said that if I wanted to, I could kind of be your second father. And he says, we have got the canteen building going up with the dance hall and the lodge, and he says, we've already got piers in there, and we have to